You want to make money like a machine, then you've got to move with discipline like a machine, not with emotion, not with excuses. Machines don't wake up wondering if they feel like working today. They don't check their mood. They don't negotiate with their feelings. They operate on command. They function by purpose. And that's exactly what it takes to build a life that breaks out of limitations. That's what it takes to escape mediocrity and rise into mastery. You've got to stop moving based on how you feel and start moving based on what you said you were going to do. There are too many people wishing for results without building the engine. The engine is your system. The system is your habits. The habits are your rituals. You can't keep hoping that money is going to find its way to you when you haven't even laid down the tracks for it to arrive. Money doesn't come to desire. It comes to discipline. It comes to structure. It comes to routine. Machines do what they're built to do. The question is, what have you built yourself to do? Most people chase money like a storm, running in every direction hoping they'll catch a drop. But machines don't chase. Machines produce. And if you want to produce money consistently, you've got to put yourself in a position where value flows out of you constantly. That means mastering something. That means becoming excellent. That means being so good at solving a specific problem that money becomes attracted to your presence. The market doesn't care about your dreams. It cares about your value. And value is built through work, through repetition, through study, through time. You want to be a machine. Then you've got to build a rhythm. You've got to set your mind like a metronome and move to the beat of consistency. Every single day, no matter how you feel, no matter what happened yesterday, no matter who is watching or not watching, you show up, you execute, you learn, you grow. That's how machines operate. That's how systems scale. That's how wealth is built. Not through luck, but through labor. Not through shortcuts, but through systems. Stop waiting for the perfect time. Stop trying to feel ready. Machines don't feel ready, they're ready by design. And you've got to design your life around results, not reactions. You've got to architect your day around production, not just participation. Some people are busy being busy, always moving, but never producing. But when you operate like a machine, your movement is measured. Your action is aligned. You're not just working hard, you're working smart, working steady, working on purpose. Machines don't get distracted. They don't stop mid-process to scroll through things that add no value. They don't lose focus just because something new popped up. They are locked in, dialed in. They complete the process from beginning to end. And if you want that kind of success, consistent, measurable, powerful success, you've got to train yourself to cut distractions, to starve your doubts, to stay on task when your emotions are trying to pull you away. And let me be clear, this isn't about being emotionless. It's about being emotionally intelligent, understanding when your feelings are useful and when they're just noise. You've got to know when to pause and when to press, when to reflect and when to grind. A machine isn't heartless, it just knows how to prioritize function over fluctuation. You need that same clarity, that same stability, that same internal compass that says, I'm here to finish what I started. Most people lose because they keep starting over. Every week it's a new idea. Every month it's a new hustle. Every year it's a new dream. But the ones who win are the ones who stay. The ones who dig deep roots and build something that outlasts the storm. Machines are not built to be flexible in purpose, they're built to be effective. You've got to make a decision about who you are and then align everything in your life around that identity. And if you're serious about wealth, then you've got to get serious about systems. Machines don't just work hard, they work predictably. They're optimized, refined, tested, and your life, your business, your finances, they all need that same level of intentionality. How are you managing your time? What's your morning routine? What's your strategy for learning, for investing, for executing? If you don't have a system, you don't have a machine, you've got chaos, and chaos can't sustain wealth. People talk about passive income like it's magic. But machines don't run on magic. They run on mechanisms. Passive income isn't about sitting back, it's about setting up structures that work when you're not present. That's what machines do. They replicate effort. They scale results. You do the work once, and the machine keeps working. That's why you've got to think long term. You've got to build assets, own things, create things, code things, license things, multiply yourself through structure. That's how you build money that doesn't stop when you do. And don't let the process fool you. It will feel slow at first. You'll be putting in effort and not seeing the reward. You'll be grinding and sweating and sacrificing while others seem like they're soaring. But remember, machines are not built overnight. They are designed. They are constructed piece by piece. And once they're running, once they're optimized, they outperform everything else. That's the reward of structure. That's the payoff of persistence. You've got to train your mind to endure silence, to keep moving in the dark, to keep building when the applause is gone. Machines are not fueled by praise, they're fueled by purpose. So even when no one sees it, you show up. Even when no one believes it, you execute. Even when no one supports it, you stay consistent. That's how machines win. They don't stop when they feel tired. They stop when the job is done. And that's how you've got to approach your grind, like it's non-negotiable, like it's sacred, like it's your duty to become the kind of person who money can't ignore. You're not hustling just to pay bills. You're building a legacy, you're breaking chains, you're setting standards for your future, for your family, for your name. And that kind of purpose can't be approached casually. It requires commitment. Repetition, fire, you've got to be ruthless with your time. Machines don't waste seconds, and neither should you. Every moment is either an investment or an expense. Either it's building you or it's draining you. You've got to learn how to say no to what doesn't serve you, no to what distracts you, no to what delays you. That's not selfish, that's smart. Machines are efficient, not overwhelmed. They're direct, not distracted. And you need that edge. And let's talk about fear for a moment. Because fear is the number one reason people never become machines. They let fear of failure freeze them. But here's what you've got to understand: machines fail forward. They break down and get rebuilt. They improve, they upgrade. They don't quit, they adjust. So don't let fear of imperfection stop you. Don't wait until it's perfect to start. Start now and perfect it along the way. Build, break, fix, repeat. That's how greatness is engineered. When you live like a machine, you start to see everything differently. You start filtering decisions through purpose. You stop indulging in comfort and start leaning into discipline. You stop waiting for permission and start moving with conviction. You begin to realize that most people are spectators in their own lives, but machines are players. Machines move the game. Machines make the rules. Machines don't ask for success, they command it. So you've got to ask yourself every day, am I building systems or am I chasing signs? Am I being driven by structure or dragged by circumstances? Because the world doesn't respond to wishes. It responds to work, consistent, focused, measurable work. You want to change your life, change your system, change what you do every day, change how you think, how you speak, how you plan, how you act. Machines are not moved by opinion, they're moved by programming. What's your programming? Because ultimately, you don't get what you want, you get what you are. If you want to make money like a machine, then become one. Not in your humanity, not in your relationships, but in your execution, in your process, in your discipline. Be relentless, be committed, be unshakable. Every morning, show up like it matters because it does. Every night, evaluate your day like you're tuning an engine. What worked, what didn't, what needs to change. That's how machines grow. That's how empires rise. And when the doubts come, and they will, remember, machines don't argue. They act when the noise gets loud. Remember, machines don't compete with noise. They drown it out through motion, through momentum, through measurable success. You want to change your bank account, change your behaviors. You want to build wealth, build systems. You want to make money like a machine, then live like one. Program yourself for success. Code your life with excellence. Run your routine with power. Show up every single day and produce like your future depends on it. Because it does. If you want to make money like a machine, you have to start thinking like one. Machines don't overthink their instructions. They don't negotiate with the mission. They don't argue with the process. They simply execute every single time. And if you're serious about financial breakthrough, about building a future that doesn't bend under pressure, then you've got to rewire your mindset until your discipline overrides your doubts. Machines don't have emotions that interfere with action. They're locked in. And if you want consistent income, if you want generational wealth, then your mindset needs to be programmed for consistency, not comfort. You can't be out here praying for abundance while living with inconsistency. You can't expect overflow while leaking discipline. You can't be asking for multiplication when you haven't mastered addition. It doesn't work that way. Machines are designed to compound effort, to magnify results, to multiply the same process again and again until it produces on autopilot. That's what you're building. You're not hustling for the sake of movement. You're building a system. You're designing a lifestyle. You're creating mechanisms that will outlive your energy and work when you can't. That means you need to stop looking for motivation and start installing systems. Motivation is emotional, but systems are structural. Motivation fades, but systems they run whether you're excited or exhausted. That's what separates those who succeed from those who stagnate. It's not about being the most talented, the smartest, or the most connected. It's about being the most committed, the one who shows up no matter what, the one who locks into the process and refuses to leave until it delivers. Machines don't flinch under pressure. They are built to perform under tension. So you've got to learn how to function when life feels heavy, how to execute when your mind is under attack, how to move even when your body wants to rest. Because making money like a machine is not about chasing the dollar, it's about creating something that commands it. You've got to become a value creator, not just a consumer. You've got to become a solution to a problem. That's the secret. Machines exist to solve, to fix, to enhance, and your life, your business, your vision, they must be built with that same foundation. What problem are you solving? What pain are you removing? What process are you improving? When you answer that with clarity, money follows. Not maybe, not sometimes, always. But here's the part: most people miss. Machines require maintenance. Just like your vision, just like your mind, just like your body, you can't expect to run endlessly if you never refuel. You've got to pour into your soul, protect your peace, guard your focus, train your energy. Because burnout is real and it'll make you malfunction. You don't want to be the person who had all the potential but lost it because they never paused to recharge. Machines don't run off fumes. They need fuel. They need tuning. They need order, and so do you. Your environment matters. What you surround yourself with will either elevate your frequency or drain your focus. Machines don't operate in chaos. They need a controlled space. Likewise, you can't expect clarity when you live in confusion. You can't expect breakthrough when you tolerate broken systems. You've got to create an atmosphere of excellence around you. That means order in your finances, structure in your routines, clarity in your goals, discipline in your habits. Money flows where order is honored. But when your life is out of alignment, your results will always fall short. And while you're building, don't despise the slow days. Machines don't start at full speed. They get tested, adjusted, improved. They go through trial runs, failures, setbacks. But that's not a sign to quit, that's a sign to refine. Your first idea may not win. Your first product may not sell. Your first pitch may not land. But you don't stop the process. You study, you learn, you adapt. And then you try again, smarter, faster, stronger. Machines get better through pressure, through repetition. So do you, and don't ever think that wealth is just about money. That's the surface. Real wealth is ownership, control, influence, freedom. That's what machines are designed to generate, not just cash, but capacity. Not just income, but options. And that kind of life doesn't come to people who play it safe. It comes to the ones who risk failure to build something that lasts. The ones who say, I may not have it all figured out, but I'm not stopping until it's done. Machines are not built to serve emotions. They are built to serve function, and that means you need to lead your life, not just feel it. You need to manage your money, not just spend it. You need to direct your energy, not just release it. Machines have limits and still perform. So do you. You may be tired. You may be under pressure. But the mission doesn't stop. The machine doesn't shut down unless it's broken. And you're not broken. You're built for this. It's time to stop entertaining distractions. Distractions are the enemy of execution. They look harmless, they feel small, but they're deadly to momentum. Machines don't stop every 5 minutes to look around. They run, they complete, they finish. You've got to train your brain to lock in like that. You've got to train your focus like it's your most valuable asset, because it is. Where your focus goes, your future grows. And when you protect your focus, you accelerate your destiny. You also need to understand that machines don't apologize for doing what they were built to do. You don't hear an engine explaining why it's running at full speed. It just does, and you've got to stop shrinking. Stop diluting yourself to make people comfortable. Stop hiding your gift just because it intimidates someone else's insecurity. You were built for more, and when you walk in your power, when you execute your purpose, when you function like a machine, you give permission to others to rise. Making money like a machine means you see the long game. Machines don't worry about momentary delays because they're engineered for endurance. You don't build a powerful machine for a 5-minute race. You build it to last. You build it to dominate over time. That's your mindset. Don't let short-term setbacks make you question long-term success. Just because it's hard now doesn't mean it's not worth it. Just because it's quiet now doesn't mean the results aren't coming. Machines don't demand applause. They demand progress, one gear at a time, and you've got to know when to level up. When a machine is outgrown, it gets upgraded. And so must you. You've got to constantly improve your knowledge, upgrade your skills, expand your network, sharpen your tools. Machines evolve, and you've got to evolve too. The same strategy that got you started won't take you to the top. You've got to be willing to reinvent, refine, and relearn. That's not weakness, that's wisdom. Sometimes that means letting go of what used to work so you can embrace what's better. Machines get replaced not because they're broken, but because something more efficient was created. You've got to be that something better, constantly becoming, constantly improving, constantly shedding the old version of you that was limited and stepping into the new version that's limitless. That's how machines remain relevant. That's how you remain unstoppable. You want to see what you're truly made of. Get serious about consistency. That's the real test. Can you do it when no one's looking? Can you perform when the spotlight is off? Can you grind when there's no guarantee? That's the machine mindset. It's not built on hype. It's built on habits. It's not powered by applause. It's powered by purpose. So stop waiting for perfect conditions. Stop waiting for validation. Stop waiting for someone to hand you the key. Be the key. Making money like a machine means you take responsibility for your output. Machines don't blame the environment. They don't point fingers. They either produce or they don't. And if they don't, they get fixed. So if you're not producing, if you're not growing, if you're not scaling, don't complain. Adjust, refine. Fix the system, change the approach, upgrade the routine, but don't ever stop. Because as long as you're moving, you're growing. And as long as you're growing, you're winning. You weren't put on this earth to be average. You weren't created to survive. You were born to dominate, to build, to multiply. And when you understand that, when you truly believe it, you start to move differently. You start to walk with intention. You start to work with precision. You stop living reactive and start living strategic. Machines don't guess. They calculate, they align, they execute. You've got to be willing to go through the season of silence, the stretch of sacrifice, the pain of process, because that's where the machine is built. It's forged in the quiet. It's refined in the fire. And once it's ready, nothing can stop it. Not opinions, not setbacks, not rejection, because it's already been tested, already been proven, already been calibrated, and that's you. So don't be afraid to grind in private. Don't be afraid to look crazy for a vision no one else sees. Don't be afraid to invest in your dream when others are wasting theirs. Machines don't need approval, they need input. Consistent, focused, intentional input. That's your job. Input the right thoughts, input the right actions, input the right disciplines, and watch what you produce. Watch what you create. Watch what you become. Because when you live like a machine, when you build systems, create structure, move with clarity, and execute with purpose, success doesn't just become possible. It becomes inevitable. So now you stand at the threshold of a decision. Will you continue living like everyone else, reacting, retreating, repeating the same cycles? Or will you rise, lock in, and operate like a machine built by vision, fueled by discipline, and driven by purpose? The power to generate wealth is already inside you, but it won't activate through wishing. It activates through work, through faith, through relentless execution. You were not designed to crawl through life hoping for change. You were created to command it. So build the system, master the process, eliminate the excuses, and then, when the world looks at what you've built, your results will speak so loud, you won't need to say a word. Let your life be the proof that when focus becomes your fuel and purpose becomes your program, you don't just make money, you make impact. You make legacy, you make history.